Godzilla, the mystical beast, also known as the Nissan SKYLINE GTR, a car that went beyond earning respect and was feared and idolized by all. This is the story of how a humble sedan became the monster of motorsport. So let's rewind to when the GTR's story starts, back in 1969. And no, it wasn't some sleek coupe or futuristic supercar, it was a box-seat four-door sedan, the Skyline 2000 GTR. On the outside it looked like your uncle's commuter car. In fact, my granddad owned one. But under the hood, a 2-litre inline 6 known as the S20, straight out of Prince Motor Company's racing program. Dual overhead cams, triple carbs, 160 horsepower. That may not sound like much today, but back then it was enough to give European sports cars nightmares. The GTR didn't waste time proving itself. Between 1969 and 1972, the Hakosuka, as fans nicknamed it, racked up 52 touring car wins in Japan. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't exotic, it was a blunt weapon. And for a while, it was untouchable. Crowds began showing up just to see it dominate. A car that looked ordinary, but raced like a giant killer. But just as the GTR was building its reputation, the world changed. The 1973 oil crisis made gas-guzzling performance cars politically toxic. Emissions regulations got stricter, insurance costs skyrocketed, and suddenly, the Skyline GTR went from a hero to a has-been. Nissan pulled the plug in 1973. After only about 2,000 Hakosuka GTRs and 197 Kenmeri GTRs were built. Just like that, the badge disappeared. Fast forward to the late 80s, Nissan wanted to return to racing dominance. But this time, they didn't just want to compete with rivals like Toyota and Honda, they wanted to obliterate them. So in 1989, they unleashed the R32 Skyline GTR. And this thing wasn't just a car, it was a piece of technology disguised as one. Under the hood sat the RB26, a twin-turbo 2.6-litre inline 6. Officially, it made 276 horsepower, but that was because of the Japanese industry's gentleman agreement to cap horsepower figures. In reality, tuners quickly discovered it could handle way more. Then came the technology. Ateza all-wheel drive, which could instantly shift torque between the front and rear wheels. Super Hika's four-wheel steering, which let the rear wheels subtly steer to sharpen handling. The R32 was a computer-controlled monster in an era when most cars were still figuring out fuel injection, and Nissan built it with racing in mind. When it hit Group A touring car racing, the R32 didn't just win, it dominated. In Japan's JTCC, it won 29 races in a row, undefeated. And then came Australia. The R32 GTR stormed Bathurst, humiliating local heroes like the Ford Sierra Cosworths and the Holden Commodores. The Aussie press nicknamed it Godzilla, the monster from Japan that came to destroy everything and anyone. The R32 was so fast that organisers had to rethink the entire rulebooks. Its all-wheel drive system gave it traction in corners that rear-wheel drive rivals couldn't match, and its turbos gave it relentless speed on straights. Fans booed it, drivers complained, but nothing could stop it. By 1993, it wasn't defeated, it was legalised and out of existence. The GTR wasn't beaten, it was banned, which honestly makes it even cooler. After the R32's reign of terror, Nissan didn't stop. The R33 GTR arrived in 1995. It was bigger and heavier, but more refined. Some fans dismissed it as the softer GTR, but on track it proved itself, famously lapping the Nürburgring in under 8 minutes, a huge deal at the time. Then, in 1999, came the R34 GTR, the one that we all know and love. This was the poster child, shorter, sharper, and meaner looking. It had a multi-function display on the dash showing boost pressure, oil temps, and even G-forces, a PlayStation dashboard before PlayStation dashboards were cool. The R34 cemented the GTR's legend. It wasn't just fast, it looked fast, felt fast, and it was the car to own if you were a serious tuner. The R34 was where the GTR stopped just being a car and became a cultural icon. In Japan, it was the ultimate street racer. Magazines and advertisements covered tuning shops like Mines, Top Secret, and HKS, squeezing out 600, 800, and even 1,000 horsepower from the RB26. Midnight street racers blasted down the Wangan Highway at 200 miles an hour in tuned R32s and R33s. Then came video games. Gran Turismo put the GTR on millions of living room screens worldwide. Suddenly, kids in America or Europe who had never seen a Skyline in real life knew every spec by heart. And then, Hollywood. The R34 GTR exploded into pop culture with Too Fast, Too Furious, and thanks to Paul's silver and blue hero car, it became an icon. The Skyline GTR had gone from an obscure JDM weapon to the global dream car almost overnight. But all this saying came with frustration, because Nissan never officially sold the R32, 33 or 34 in the USA. They were forbidden fruit. Import laws meant Americans had to wait 25 years before bringing one in legally. And in racing, the GTR's domination caused so much backlash that series after series rewrote rules to keep it out. Too fast for the street, too good for racing, too illegal for America. At some point, the GTR stopped just being a machine and became a rebel story. So, what do you get when you combine racing dominance, tech wizardry, cultural stardom, and a little bit of controversy? You get the Skyline GTR. From its humble Hakosuka roots, to its exile in the 70s, to its rebirth as Godzilla, to its rise as the most lusted after JDM legend of all time. This isn't just a car, it's a myth, a monster that refused to die. Thanks for watching.